aspect of the Lieutenant Governor's job is who he's going to name as chairman, who's going to provide the leadership for the state of Mississippi. And with that in mind, I think with as much as is at stake in Mississippi with this election in less than 3 weeks, I believe that it's important for people to know what kind of leadership team that I plan to put together if I'm fortunate enough to be elected. And this is just as people are looking at the qualities of their lieutenant governor, I'm going to be looking at the qualities of the men and women I've had the privilege of serving with and hope to serve with in the future. And I want those qualities of dependability, integrity, honesty, and having a proven capacity to show them load and be trustworthy, not just within the Senate body, but for the state.
Sure.
And with that in mind, and trying to get as much information out as possible, and while it's not a complete list, yesterday I announced who my choices would be for the core of my leadership team.
Sure.
And at the top of the list, I was looking for some proven experience to take on what many would argue is the most consequential office, which is that of appropriations, because that's really where the rubber meets the road. That's where government functionality really kicks off, and you see the difference made with folks, and impacts a whole lot of people. And Doug Davis has proven himself. He stepped into Alan Nunley's shoes when Alan left, and Alan was a very capable chairman. But Doug Davis has been an invaluable colleague. He's been through the grinder, and he's come out in a very good and consistent fashion. And this isn't about who's your buddy.
Sure.
And I'm glad to call him my friend.
Right.
And I'm proud to have him as a colleague. But I'm even more proud to have the opportunity to make sure that we have some very proven experience and leadership in the Office of Appropriations, and I intend for Doug Davis to continue in that capacity.
Very good. Mr. Gooch has joined us. Do you want to talk about, of course it's kind of the elephant in the room, I know, but you have tried to take it squarely on the issues, and you're not really getting into the negative aspects that you feel like has maybe been thrust upon you in this case. You want to say anything about that?
No, there's a great deal at stake with this election, and there's nothing negative about telling the truth. My opponent refuses to debate me and meet me in forums, and there are some important questions people need to ask and people want to know. And I talk about the manner of conduct of an office. Again, the trustworthiness of the person being elected and the proven experience. And I do believe that the difference in this race is going to be about experience. And I have a great track record, one of the highest conservative rating of any legislator for 20 years, not just in the last year. So my combination of legislative experience, delivering on conservative policy, and you combine that with running a business for over 26 years, understanding what it takes to keep the doors open, to hire people, and make sure that they're successful and can provide for their folks, making that payroll, and then making ends meet with my family. You know, Paul and I have been married. It'll be 26 years in August, and with 4 kids, raising those, we understand the challenges Mississippi families are facing, making ends meet, providing for them, making sure that we have a quality home life, and we instill the proper values and set the proper example. And that's one thing I've been talking about the leadership too. I think you have to live and lead by example. And I'm proud to be offering that as part of who I am and looking forward to leading. And I told folks that not only will I be a lieutenant governor that folks can depend on to pass good conservative policy and stop liberal agendas, but I'll be one who's not only accessible, but a person some folks can relate to because of those life and legislative experiences. And on the living and leading by example, I'll conduct myself as I have for the last 20 years in a manner that folks can be proud of and that will bring dignity to this office. Doug Davis is the same kind of fellow. As long as I've known him for years now, he has been exemplary in his conduct, and when he's been asked to do something, he has delivered for the state of Mississippi and continues to do so, and I know he'll do a good job for years to come.
Very good. All right. Doug, obviously, this is a high-profile race. Lieutenant Governor presides over the Senate, and you've had the chance to work with Mr. Hewes here on a number of issues. What qualities do you feel like that he brings to the table in his capacity?
Well, first of all, let me say I'm honored. I think that to be considered by a current leader in the Senate, for somebody to look at the work product that has been handled in the budget over the last 4 years and say you've done a good job and you are staying where you are, I think that speaks well of me personally, but also I think it speaks well for the people of Desoto County that Desoto County can continue to have a place at the table when important decisions are made. Personally, as it relates to billing, I think the emphasis is on experience. We're going to be dealing with a state government next year that will have a new governor, a new speaker of the House, and a new lieutenant governor. And now more than ever is not the time for on-the-job training. It's important for somebody to come in January, be able to bang the gavel and get to work. We have difficult days ahead of us in the state of Mississippi as it relates to the economy, particularly the budget. And I think it's imperative for us to have a leadership team in place that our focus is on making sure our budget is in order and that we're doing all we can to recruit and create jobs here in Mississippi. And that's what we intend to do.
Very good, John. Thank you.